are making thousands to tens of thousands in the stock market. Is that true? My name is JP and welcome back to my channel. I just want to start off this video with saying that in no means am I a financial advisor or do I recommend anybody follow what I do. In today's video, we're going to cover some fundamentals on the stock market. What exactly is the stock market? The stock market is a place where you can publicly buy or sell stock in the stock exchange.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. Let's say your friend offers you an iPhone 11 for $100 and you agree to that price at that time. Meaning that iPhone 11 is worth $100 at that given time. Now let's say the next day you go to your other friend and you tell him you want to sell the iPhone 11 for $120 and he agrees to that price. That means that next day it's worth $120. Meaning that you're going to make a profit of $20 if you sell at that time. Now let's say you ask for $120 and he actually says no, it's worth $80 and you agree to sell at $80. That means that it's worth $80 at that given time of the day. Meaning that you sell for a loss of $20. The stock market is pretty much the same thing. Depending on what the buyer and the seller agree that the price is at that given time, will determine what the price is.
How much is this?
149, sir.
I've got 50p.
Exactly what is a share? A share is a small portion of a company. This means when you purchase a share, that you actually become a part owner of that company.
I own the place.
Which when thinking about it, it's pretty awesome that someone like you or me can own such a small part of a huge company like Microsoft. Companies in the stock market can be found by looking up their ticker. You can look up their ticker in the brokerage that you use. So for instance, Apple has a ticker of AAPL. Every stock has a ticker. Some of them are simple, some of them are different. You pretty much have to look them up, do a Google search and search up like Microsoft ticker, Netflix ticker, whatever company you're interested in. You can just search that up and it'll give you a ticker. Now that you have a better understanding on what the stock market is and exactly what a share is, let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into it. Now exactly how do people make money in the stock market? Let's say someone decides to buy Nike stock. It's currently trading at $171.74. Let's say in a week it's trading at $180, meaning that they can sell it for roughly a $9 profit at that time, which is pretty good. Now depending on how many shares you have, can depend on how much money you can get from it. So let's say you had 10 shares. Instead of only making $9 because you had one share, you would be making $90 because you have 10 total shares. Now let's say Nike's doing the opposite. Let's say it's trading at $160 a week later. That pretty much means that you're going to sell for a loss of roughly $11. And depending on how many shares you have, let's say you have 10, you'd be selling at a loss of $110. You're probably wondering, how does the price stock go up and down? This depends on many different factors. But some factors can be that the company comes out with great news or the company comes out with some bad news. Let's say Nike comes out with a new product of shoes and the market really loves them. It allows people to run twice as fast with them. That means that the stock price can go up anywhere from $1 to $100 depending on what the market decides that the stock price should be. Let's say that the market comes out with some news that the CEO stole money from the company. This can bring down the stock price because people are afraid of what's going to happen with the company in the future.
We have food.
A big part of the stock price is supply and demand. Meaning if there's more demand than supply, the stock price typically goes up. And if there's more supply than demand, the stock price actually goes down. This pretty much means that if some great news comes out of Nike, like I stated, that the demand is so great that so many people are just willing to buy no matter what the price is, then the stock price is going to continue to go up. Now let's say that the bad news comes out where the CEO decided to steal some money and not that many people want to buy Nike. Instead they want to sell their stock because they're scared of what's happening with Nike. That means that there's more supply than demand, meaning that the stock price is going to go down. Let's go ahead and talk about some ways that beginners can go ahead and decide what kind of companies they want to trade. So when you're going into individual companies, what I recommend beginners to do is pretty much look around at what you use every single day and what everyone uses in every single day around you. Now, when you determine a company like this, like let's say Apple for an instance, because you have an iPhone, let's go ahead and take in consideration a couple of things. What I recommend people to do is to look up for any company news and see if they're coming out with any new products, what's going on with the fundamentals of the companies, does the company have values that you like, as well as look into some other financial documents like the company's 10K and figure out what's going on with their balance sheets. A 10K is a report filled annually by public companies about their financial performance. After looking into all of this in a company, you can then decide for yourself if you believe that this company is a good purchase for you. Now that you have a better understanding on how to pick the companies that you want, let's go ahead and move on to what I recommend people to have in their portfolio when they first start off investing. When you first start off investing, you want to have a well-diverse portfolio, meaning that you want to have multiple different companies in multiple different sectors, as well as you want to have some ETFs inside your portfolio. The reason why you want to have a diversified portfolio is because that means that you're going to have your money in multiple different sectors of the stock market. You're going to have money in the medical field as well as the technology field, meaning that if news typically comes out in the medical field, it really won't affect the technology field. Let's move on to what an ETF is. An ETF is a basket of stocks in that given sector. Now, one of the biggest ETFs that I recommend myself is the SPY, which is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 tracks the top 500 companies in the stock market. Now, the awesome part of the S&P 500 that it typically gives you an 8 to 12% return yearly, which is really great for beginners. Another form of stock that I recommend people to buy are dividend stocks. Now, exactly what is a dividend? When a company as big as Ford makes so much money, they actually give you money for just holding the share. One of the best part about dividends is that you're actually going to be making money from the price change of the stock, as well as you're going to be making money on the dividends that it pays you based on either a quarterly, semi-quarterly, or an annual basis.
Money.
Now, finally, let's talk about the last thing that I recommend people to invest money in. I would recommend people to invest money into crypto. Now, crypto may seem a little bit scary at first, but crypto can actually make a pretty big move in your portfolio. Now, exactly what does this look in a portfolio? A good portfolio for beginners will have 50% allocated into the S&P 500 or other ETFs. 20% will go into dividend stocks, 20% other will go into companies that you believe in, and lastly, 10% will go into crypto. There are many brokerages that you can trade on. There's brokerages such as Fidelity, Robinhood, Webull, and Vanguard, and there's so many other ones out there. You can decide what brokerage you want to use based on the preference that you have. Now, one last thing. Now, exactly how much do you need to invest to get started? Simple answer is as much as you want. You can invest as little as $5, or you can invest as much as $100, or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. It's really just up to you. Now, in this video, we learned exactly what the stock market is, how the stock market works, what exactly are shares, how a share price goes up or down, as well as how to pick different companies for beginners. And also we talked about what I recommend a good portfolio would be for beginners. Like always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and comment down below what you guys think I should do for the next video, and make sure you guys subscribe. And just to clarify, I'm not a financial advisor.